In the heart of the ancient forest of Gulshan stood the crumbling remains of Olshanskaya Castle, a place shrouded in a thick veil of mystery and fear. For centuries, the locals spoke in hushed tones of the vile, nasty ghost that haunted its decaying halls. This was not just any ghost, but the restless spirit of Gremislav Valuzinich, a commoner whose tragic tale of forbidden love had cursed the castle and its surrounding areas for generations. The story began over 300 years ago, when the noble Olshanskaya family ruled the region with an iron fist. Gordislava Olshanskaya, the youngest daughter of the nobleman, was renowned for her beauty and grace. Her laughter could charm even the sternest of men, and her smile was said to bring the first blossoms of spring. However, despite her noble status, Gordislava's heart belonged to a humble commoner named Gremislav Valuzinich. Gremislav was a young man of simple means but immense kindness. He worked as a carpenter in the nearby village, crafting beautiful pieces from the wood of the surrounding forest. The villagers spoke highly of him, but it was his secret love for Gordislava that defined his life. The two met by chance in the forest one autumn afternoon, and their connection was immediate and profound. They knew their love was forbidden, yet they could not deny it. To be with his beloved without arousing suspicion, Gremislav began to dress in the robes of a monk, a guise that allowed him to visit the castle undetected. For months, the couple met in secret, stealing precious moments in hidden corners of the castle and the dense woods. However, their love was not destined to remain hidden forever. Gordislava's elder brother, Igor Olshanskaya, a man of ruthless ambition and fierce loyalty to his family's honor, discovered their secret. Enraged by what he saw as a grave insult to their noble bloodline, Igor confronted Gremislav one fateful night. Gremislav, dressed in his monastic robes, was ambushed by Igor and his loyal men. Despite his pleas for mercy and declarations of love for Gordislava, Igor's wrath was unrelenting. In a cold, dark corner of the castle, Gremislav was brutally murdered, his life snuffed out by the very ones who should have protected their sister's happiness. To conceal the crime and prevent any scandal, Igor ordered Gremislav's body to be walled up within the castle walls, his final resting place a silent prison of stone and mortar. Gordislava was devastated by the loss of her beloved. Her grief was profound, and her sorrow seeped into the very walls of the castle. She was eventually forced into an arranged marriage, her spirit broken and her heart forever scarred. As the years passed, the legend of Gremislav's ghost began to take shape. Residents of the surrounding villages would speak of strange happenings at the castle. Unexplained cold drafts, whispers in the night, and eerie apparitions were common occurrences. Those brave enough to venture near the castle after dark reported seeing a shadowy figure clad in monastic robes, his eyes burning with a malevolent fire. He would appear suddenly, his face twisted in rage and sorrow, cursing anyone who dared to tread on the grounds of his eternal torment. One chilling autumn evening, a group of curious townsfolk decided to investigate the castle. Armed with torches and courage bolstered by ale, they crossed the threshold into the ruins. The air was thick with an unnatural chill, and an oppressive silence hung heavy over the halls. As they explored the decaying rooms, they heard faint whispers echoing off the walls, growing louder with each step they took. In the grand hall, where the ghost was said to appear most frequently, they found themselves face to face with the apparition of Gremislav. His form was gaunt, his eyes hollow and glowing with an otherworldly light. The sight of him filled their hearts with an indescribable dread. He reached out towards them, his bony fingers curling like talons, and a guttural moan escaped his lips, a sound filled with centuries of anguish and rage. One of the villagers, a young man named Pavel, stepped forward, his voice trembling as he spoke. "What do you want from us?" he asked, his courage waning as the ghost's eyes fixed upon him. The ghost's response was a chilling whisper that echoed through the hall. "Justice, vengeance, release." With those words, the walls around them seemed to pulse and shift, as if the castle itself was alive, feeding off the ghost's torment. Terrified, the group fled the castle, vowing never to return. However, the encounter only fueled the legend, drawing more adventurers and ghost hunters to the haunted ruins. Each one hoped to uncover the truth behind the curse, to either put the spirit to rest or to exploit its dark power. Years later, a historian named Anna Petrovna became fascinated by the tale. Driven by a deep sense of empathy for the lover's tragic fate, she resolved to uncover the truth and, if possible, bring peace to Gremyslav's tormented spirit. She spent months researching the Olshanskaya family history, poring over ancient manuscripts and forgotten records. Her investigation led her to a hidden chamber within the castle, a place where the air was thick with sorrow and the walls whispered secrets of the past. In that chamber, she found the remains of Gremislav, his skeletal form still clad in the tattered remnants of his monastic robes. As she knelt beside the bones, a profound sadness washed over her. She whispered a prayer for his soul and promised to tell the world his story, to finally bring light to the darkness that had enveloped his spirit for centuries. But as Anna began to leave the chamber, she felt a cold hand grip her shoulder. She turned to see Gremislav's ghost standing before her, his eyes now filled with a mix of sorrow and gratitude. He spoke no words, but she understood his silent plea. To truly free him, she would need to confront the source of his torment, the bloodline of those who had wronged him. As Anna delved deeper into the mystery, she uncovered dark secrets about the Olshanskaya family, secrets that would threaten her own safety and sanity. The ghost's story was far from over, and the path to his release would be fraught with danger, betrayal, and a darkness that reached beyond the grave. And so, the legend of Gremislav Valuzinich, the vile, nasty ghost of Olshanskaya Castle, continued to haunt the living, his tale of love, betrayal, and vengeance remaining unfinished, waiting for the one who could finally bring an end to his eternal suffering. Anna Petrovna's discovery of Gremislav's remains marked the beginning of a perilous journey. As she left the hidden chamber, the air grew colder, and the castle's shadows seemed to lengthen, as if the structure itself was aware of her presence and her intentions. Gremislav's ghost had communicated its needs without words, and Anna was now bound to his quest for justice and peace. Determined to fulfill her promise, Anna spent the following weeks investigating the Olshanskaya family archives. She unearthed hidden documents and long-forgotten diaries that painted a grim picture of the family's past. The more she learned, the more she realized that Gremislav's death was just one part of a much darker tapestry of betrayal, murder, and occult practices. Among the documents, she found a letter written by Gordislava herself, hidden within the pages of a dusty old tome. The letter revealed that Gordislava had not been entirely powerless after Gremislav's murder. She had discovered the truth about her brother Igor's heinous act and had attempted to seek justice in her own way. Gordislava wrote of a secret pact she had made with a mysterious figure known only as the Dark Monk, a sorcerer rumored to possess the power to bind spirits to the mortal realm. The Dark Monk had promised Gordislava that Gremislav's spirit would find peace only when the bloodline of those who betrayed him was extinguished. However, Gordislava's own untimely death had prevented her from fulfilling this dark bargain, leaving Gremislav's spirit trapped and vengeful. The letter ended abruptly, with a final plea for forgiveness and a warning that the true evil behind Gremislav's suffering had yet to be vanquished. As Anna delved deeper into this revelation, strange occurrences began to plague her. She was haunted by nightmarish visions of Gremislav's final moments, his agonized screams echoing in her ears. The ghost himself appeared more frequently, his once sorrowful eyes now filled with an urgent desperation. He would stand silently at the foot of her bed, his gaze imploring her to continue her quest. One stormy night, as lightning split the sky and thunder shook the castle walls, Anna had a breakthrough. She discovered a hidden passageway within the castle, a secret corridor that led deep into the foundations of the ancient structure. Guided by a combination of intuition and the ghost's subtle hints, she navigated the labyrinthine tunnels until she reached a sealed stone door, its surface etched with arcane symbols. Anna hesitated, feeling the weight of the centuries-old curse pressing down upon her. She knew that beyond this door lay the answers she sought, but also the true source of Gremislav's torment. Summoning her courage, she pushed the door open and stepped into a dark, circular chamber. The air inside was thick with an oppressive, malevolent energy. In the center of the room stood an ancient altar, upon which rested a large, ornate book bound in black leather. As Anna approached, she realized that this was the Dark Monk's grimoire, a tome of forbidden knowledge and dark spells. The pages were filled with incantations and rituals designed to manipulate and control spirits. Among them, she found the original binding spell that had tethered Gremislav's soul to the mortal realm. As Anna studied the grimoire, she became aware of a presence in the chamber. She turned to see a shadowy figure emerging from the darkness, its eyes glowing with a sinister light. It was the dark monk, his form preserved by the dark magic he wielded. He spoke in a voice that seemed to echo from the depths of the earth, his words dripping with malice. "You seek to undo what has been done, but you know not the price you must pay," the dark monk intoned. "To free the spirit, you must confront the bloodline of the betrayer, and only then will the curse be lifted." Anna realized that the dark monk's words held a dire truth. She would have to confront the descendants of Igor Olshanskaya, the very family she had grown up admiring for their nobility and power. The final confrontation would not be easy, and the path ahead was fraught with danger and moral dilemmas. She would need to unearth long-buried secrets, challenge powerful adversaries, and face the darkness within herself. The dark monk's figure began to dissipate, his final words lingering in the air like a sinister omen. "The bloodline continues, and so does the curse. Only when the last of the betrayer's kin is no more will the spirit find peace." As Anna left the chamber, clutching the grimoire tightly, she felt the weight of her new responsibility. The villagers whispered of her bravery and determination, but they also feared for her safety. She was now caught in a web of ancient evil and family secrets, and the road to redemption for Gremislav's soul was more treacherous than she had ever imagined. The story was far from over, and as Anna prepared to face the challenges ahead, she could feel the ghost of Gremislav watching over her, his fate intertwined with hers in a tale of love, betrayal, and the relentless pursuit of justice. The next chapter awaited, shrouded in darkness and uncertainty, with the promise of both peril and revelation. Anna Petrovna knew that confronting the Olshanskaya family was her only option. With the grimoire in hand and Gremislav's spirit urging her forward, she prepared for the final chapter of her quest. The villagers, sensing the impending climax, watched with a mix of hope and dread as she made her way to the current Olshanskaya estate, a grand mansion that stood as a stark contrast to the decaying castle of old. The last of the Olshanskaya line was Nikolai, a man known for his ruthless business practices and cold demeanor. Anna had always found him unsettling, but now she saw him as the embodiment of the curse that had plagued Gremislav for centuries. She arrived at the estate under the pretense of historical research, but her true intentions were far more grave. Inside the mansion, Anna felt the weight of history pressing down upon her. She was ushered into a lavish sitting room where Nikolai awaited her. He was a tall, imposing figure, his eyes dark and calculating. As Anna explained her supposed research, she could sense Gremislav's ghost beside her, a spectral presence that filled her with both fear and resolve. Nikolai listened with feigned interest, but Anna could tell he was growing impatient. She decided to take a bold step. Producing the grimoire, she opened it to the page detailing the binding spell. Nikolai's eyes widened in recognition, and his expression shifted from boredom to alarm. "Where did you get that?" he demanded, his voice edged with panic. "This book holds the truth of your family's dark past," Anna replied, her voice steady despite her pounding heart. "It's time to end the curse that your ancestor brought upon Gremislav Valuzinich." Nikolai laughed, a harsh, mirthless sound. "You think a mere book can threaten me? My family's power is far greater than you realize." Undeterred, Anna began to recite the incantation she had memorized from the grimoire, her voice strong and clear. As the words filled the room, the air grew cold, and the lights flickered. Nikolai's expression turned to one of fear as he felt the supernatural forces converging around him. "You don't understand what you're doing," he shouted, lunging towards her, but it was too late. The spell had been set in motion, and a powerful force threw Nikolai back, pinning him against the wall. Gremislav's ghost materialized fully, his form more solid than ever before. His eyes, once filled with sorrow, now blazed with righteous fury. He approached Nikolai, who struggled in vain against the invisible bonds holding him. "The sins of your ancestors have cursed me for centuries," Gremislav intoned, his voice echoing with the weight of the past. "It ends tonight." Nikolai screamed as Gremislav reached out, his spectral hand passing through Nikolai's chest. The room filled with a blinding light, and Anna shielded her eyes, feeling the immense power of the ritual. When the light faded, Nikolai lay lifeless on the floor, his face frozen in an expression of terror. The air in the room seemed to lift, the oppressive weight of the curse dissipating. Gremislav's form began to waver, his eyes now filled with peace. He turned to Anna, gratitude shining through his ethereal visage. "Thank you," he whispered. You have given me the justice I longed for." With those final words, Gremyslav's spirit began to dissolve. The curse finally lifted. Anna felt a profound sense of relief and accomplishment, knowing she had freed a tormented soul and ended a cycle of vengeance. However, as she turned to leave, she noticed something strange. The grimoire was glowing, its pages flipping rapidly on their own. A chilling realization dawned upon her. By invoking the spell, she had awakened something even darker. The dark monk's essence, long dormant, was now free from its ancient prison within the book. A shadowy figure emerged from the grimoire, its form coalescing into the terrifying visage of the dark monk. He looked at Anna with eyes that burned like coals, his presence radiating malevolence. "You have done well, mortal," he hissed. "But now, a new era begins. My power is restored, and the world shall know true darkness." Anna stood her ground, her mind racing for a solution. She had not anticipated this outcome, but she knew she could not allow the dark monk to unleash his evil upon the world. With a surge of determination, she grasped the grimoire, chanting a banishment spell she had found in the ancient texts. The room shook violently as the forces of light and darkness clashed. The dark monk shrieked in fury, his form flickering as Anna's words took hold. With a final, desperate push, she completed the spell, and the dark monk was sucked back into the grimoire, his screams fading into silence. Exhausted but triumphant, Anna sealed the grimoire with a binding spell of her own, ensuring that it could never again be opened. She left the Olshanskaya estate, the dawn breaking over the horizon, signaling a new beginning. The legend of Gremislav Zinich had reached its conclusion, but Anna knew that her journey was far from over. She had faced darkness and emerged victorious, but the world was full of other shadows, other spirits in need of justice. With the grimoire safely hidden away, she vowed to continue her work, to seek out and confront the evils that lurked in the hidden corners of history. And so, the story of the vile, nasty ghost came to an end, leaving behind a legacy of courage, redemption, and the eternal struggle between light and darkness.